Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Hey guys, welcome in. Monday Fun Day here on this January the 16th as college basketball. The card already underway with a couple of games just tipping off, couple of games just finishing up, but plenty still to get to on this $9 Monday here at wagertalk.com. We'll break down a couple of these upcoming games here today, see if we can find a couple of best bets for you along the way. And we'll do it with three of the best at Wager Talk and or sportsmemo.com as we welcome back in Drew Martin in the house, as is Bryan Leonard, wagertalk.com, and mid-major Matt Joseph's here with us. Sportsmemo.com is where you can catch him. And Drew, $9 Monday, no shortage of action on the hardwood here today or the football field for that matter. You got anything cooking over at wagertalk.com?
I do, Joe. Up and in with $9 MLK moneymaker going tonight in prime time. So if basketball is your thing, today is your day. Full slate of games here, and I got one I really like, Joe, on an 11-3, 79% college basketball heater, man. So looking to keep it going tonight, and looking forward to breaking down these three games with you, man. Thanks for having me on.
It's gonna be a profitable Monday here. Just ask Bryan Leonard. You know he's ready to roll. NHL also underway, Bryan, but you know that because you continue to just crush the ice there. Do you have anything for us here today on a $9 Monday?
Yeah, I do. I've got a $9 play in the NHL. Also have a college best bet for paid clients. I'm not selling that individually. And I appreciate Matt wearing a Syracuse jersey because I had them the other day and they came up just slightly short. But hopefully we'll talk about that game a little later and we'll see what happens. But I've got a nice bet here for a best bet, and I'll have that up for you in just a little bit.
All right, perfect. Good stuff over at sportsmemo.com. Mid-major Matt Josephs. Plenty of mid-major action here today, man. What do you got rolling for us?
Well, I already had a winner today, had Towson. That was a very easy one, so that was a nice way to start the day. So that was my college basketball action for today, and I've got my NFL props tonight. A couple that I really like. You can get those for $9 at sportsmemo.com.
All right, guys. Well, let's dive into the card here if we can today. We're going to start by heading over to Middle Tennessee State. They're going to be hosting UAB. UAB is going to be the small road favorite here, 2.5. The total 145.5, 9 o'clock Eastern time tip. And yeah, this is a fun one. You got one team that's like watching paint dry, and you got the other team can't wait to run up and down the damn court. So something's got to give here, Drew. UAB and the speed, or Middle Tennessee State taking their time. Which one are you leaning towards?
Yeah, Joe, good matchup here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Conference USA action. Sidewise, not too much. I think it's interesting. To tell you the truth, Joe, you were talking about, kind of the total. I think it's a little bit correlated with the side. Who controls the pace, I think, will win this game. If you're kind of like a parlay player, maybe look towards that. I'm not so much of that. But UAB, to your point, up and down, top 5 in the country in terms of average offensive possession length. So they're looking to get the ball and score the basketball. That's what they do. However, Joe, keeping in mind that they're 14-3 to the over. Meaning if you've been betting UAB games over the total, you have 14 wins in 3 losses. Last time out, they just had 67 possessions. So something to watch there in terms of, hey, maybe MTSU can kind of find something to slow down UAB offensively. I actually think they might here, Joe. When you look at MTSU, Middle Tennessee here, their defensive efficiency right around top 100 in the country. And for Conference USA, that's very good. So they're good on the defensive end. They tend to go a little bit slower, and they have a lot of shot blockers there. A couple guys ranking in the top 200 in the nation. So seeing this total now, 145.5, there has been under money. So watching this kind of line move towards the under, some of it my money. I actually like the under here, kind of kicking that UAB over trend out, Joe. UAB, MTSU, I would look to bet it towards the under tonight.
So they're top 3 in scoring, UAB. They're top 4 in rebounding. Something has got to give here. Brian Leonard, is it going to be a situation where you give the edge to the home team, or is there some talent here on UAB that's just not being priced correctly?
Yeah, I'm going to use this as my best bet for the side, so I'm not going to get into it right now. But Drew's right. If you're looking to play Middle Tennessee State, I would think you'd look for the under here. A lot of the times we'll find out in these games that certain teams like to run when they play against a team who is able to keep them from running, throws them completely off. So that should be some correlation in here. But I'll be brief on this because, like I said, I'm going to use this as my best bet, and I'll just save that for later.
All right. Mid-major Matt Joseph, sportsmemo.com. Are you a big fan of this Middle Tennessee State team, or does a team who can't shoot free throws worry you?
It always does. I mean, I do like it more that they are at home. The big thing that I'm considering here when you look at this game is game 2 without Jelly Walker, most likely for UAB. And usually you get that first game bump, you're able to play, there's all this momentum, you figure things out. And then as things start going along a little bit, then you kind of realize, oh, crap, our best player's not with us. You're playing another road game 48 hours later. I think that's a little bit of a factor here. It looks like Jelly will probably be back for that game against North Texas, the home game on Saturday. So they're not going to have him here most likely. The fact that Middle Tennessee doesn't shoot free throws very well, doesn't defend very well, but you usually like the home teams to control tempo here. So my lean would be to Middle Tennessee State, as certainly that second game without Jelly is a concern here, but I don't really love either team in this situation.
All right, let's take a look here at game number 2 here tonight, which should be interesting here. A little Florida connection as the Owls, Florida Atlantic, taking on Western Kentucky. But holy crap, don't look now, but FAU is a top 25 team. 16-1, I believe, and they're laying 5 on the road to Western Kentucky. The total is 141, Drew. Who'd have thunk it, huh? The FAU Owls with 1 loss, now cracking the top 25 in the country. Are you backing them here?
Right in our neck of the woods here, Joe Ranieri, right in South Florida, FAU. They use the winning in paradise kind of slogan for recruiting in football. I saw a billboard just the other day. Scoring in paradise is what they're going for on the hardwood here. So they got a little marketing department at Florida Atlantic that tends to be pretty good. And yeah, you're right, Joe. 16-1 on the season, second longest winning streak in college basketball, 15 straight games. They're also 12-3 against the spread, so been a great bet. Joe, one thing I've kind of learned to just bet in college basketball, teams like that, I'm going to let them lose a couple games before I look to kind of bet against them. So it almost kind of crosses out Western Kentucky as a bet for me anyway. However, being at home, catching points, it is a little bit intriguing to jump on the Hilltoppers here, especially because they've won 3 straight, covered 3 straight. So maybe they're a little bit underrated in the betting market. So side-wise, I think it's actually a tough handicap. Both routes, especially because FAU 5-1 on the road, so they still have played good getting away from Boca Raton. So sidewise, I didn't get there. Totals wise, I think FAU is going to be able to keep their offense, that offensive efficiency on the road. At least they've been able to do so in the past. So seeing a pretty reachable total here of 141. I actually think they get up and over. Not something I bet big, anything like that. But if you're needing a bet here on MLK Day, FAU, Western Kentucky, I would look to bet it over the total, Joe.
All right, looking at over the total. Are you a believer in this Owls team mid-major, Matt, or does the dream end here today?
Well, I think situationally, it's the best team money can buy or pass, and that's Western Kentucky, because we know how much Rick Stansbury loves dipping into the funds to bring the players in. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Yeah, look, it's a very tough situation for Florida Atlantic here. Look at this stretch they just finished. North Texas is obviously a huge game for them because North Texas is the class of the conference. FIU, which is the huge rivalry game. Charlotte, which is always a grind. Before that, UAB and North Texas. So, like, it's not like they've had an emotional letdown yet. And I think it comes tonight. And you see this sometimes with the teams that are just ranked in the top 25. That next game, you know, there's a little bit of extra pressure on them to kind of live up to the expectations. Western Kentucky, as Drew said, has won 3 straight. They've covered 3 straight. The one thing I might want to wait and see is what's Emmanuel Acot's status for this game. He did not play last game. He's a huge guard here. The kid who came over from Boise State, but to me, it's Western Kentucky or pass. So I just think at some point there's going to be a letdown from Florida Atlantic. It may not be tonight, but situationally, I think it does come tonight.
Yeah, not exactly an easy place to play historically for the Owls. 7-17 against the Hilltoppers on their court there. But does that change here tonight, Brian Leonard? Are you a believer in the Owls laying 5?
Drew pointed out Florida Atlantic scoring in paradise. Sounds like a trip to Thailand, if you ask me.
Been there.
I am going to I'm going to give a look here to Florida Atlantic. They won 14 straight games, and according to shot quality data, the last 13 were legitimate. Their first win, they probably should have lost. And when you take a look at the post-game win percentages, each of the last 12 post-game winning percentages have been at 63% or higher. So they've won all these games as of late, and they've been very good with it throughout. No lucky wins. As opposed to Western Kentucky, they're coming off 2 very fortunate wins over FIU and UAB. The post-game winning percentages in those contests were 19 and 15%. So you got a team here in Western Kentucky feeling pretty fat and happy, just like, of course, Florida Atlantic probably is. But you've got a team in Florida Atlantic that's done it by the stats as well as the scoreboard. Western Kentucky, not so much. Both of these clubs rank in the top 25 in offensive shot quality, points per possession, when they're playing in the half court. But Florida Atlantic is clearly the better team when they're looking in transition. So if Florida Atlantic can win in the half court and in transition, and if they're running, Western Kentucky can't keep up, I've got to be on Florida Atlantic here. I'll lay the points.
All right, there we go. FAU for Brian Leonard. And there is one other game in Florida here that we're going to take a look at, and that's going to be the U as Miami taking their ACC dominance to Syracuse here. See if they can anyway. As Cuse comes in to town, 6.5, somewhere in that ballpark at 150.5, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Tip rough overtime loss for the U there against North Carolina State. Meanwhile, Bryan has got Syracuse rolling here. And since you're wearing the Cuse jersey there, Matt, I'm going to guess you're backing Syracuse here tonight on the road. What do you think?
If you notice some extra white hairs, it's from watching this team. They were down 12 in the second half to Notre Dame, and I left the apartment in a fit of rage. I really wasn't raging because this team doesn't do that to me. But then I come home, and they win the game against Notre Dame. So it's very tough. I'll say this. I usually like playing Syracuse more as an underdog. To me, as a favorite, they're a bad favorite, and I liked Notre Dame in that game, and of course they barely got the cover here. Syracuse to me is only a bet as an underdog, and I would lean towards the over here. The problem is Syracuse's offense is inconsistent. If Joe Girard's not working, if Judah Mintz is playing a little bit too fast and turning the ball over, then this team's going to struggle to score here. The question is, how's Miami going to play 48 hours after an overtime game? Could there be some injuries of note, or could there be some missing absences of any sort of note? So to me, if you're ever going to play Syracuse, it's only as an underdog, but certainly it would be one of those things where if you played Syracuse as an underdog, be ready to live bet Miami if you're getting that poor Syracuse effort, which they have notoriously had many times so far this season.
Undefeated at home, Drew. That's what the U is, 10-0. They're going to let up here tonight, but then again, winning and covering 2 different animals here. So who do you like in this game?
Yeah, Joe, you bring up undefeated at home. I think that's a big part of it because when you look at, their past performance here, two of their last three they've lost, including one to Georgia Tech that was a little bit head scratching. However, both on the road. So, do we give them a pass? How much do you kind of handicap that in? I mean, they are having to win by 7 here, so you got to bring in winning by margin as part of it. They are shooting 75% from the free throw line, so that helps because if it's a foul fest at the end, maybe going towards the Canes. I don't know. Overall, Joe, this is not one that I bet. But if you made me, I think this Miami team's for real. I think they're going to be in the tournament. I think their offensive efficiency is going to carry over. They're getting good guard play as well. They're hitting their shots. So the Miami Hurricanes are a team I'm looking to bet on more than fade. So that would put me here. Miami -7 if you need a bet in Coral Gables tonight, guys.
If they turn it over 17 times again, like they did against North Carolina State, Brian, it's going to be a very quick game, and Syracuse will just run them over. But Larinaga has this propensity to get these kids ready to roll at home. Does that continue here tonight?
We will see. We will see. I always talk a lot about the shot quality numbers, and they break down each game. If the team wins the game and the shot quality numbers also agree with that, they put it in a green. If it's just the opposite and you lose a game and they put it in red, lose the game, and your shot quality numbers agree, it's the ones that are in yellow to me, which is what I call the coin flip games. Those are the ones where something strange happened in the game and the team either outplayed their shot selection or they underplayed their shot selection. So when we get these teams that match up for the second time, it gives us a little bit of an edge. I talked about Syracuse, and Matt elaborated a little bit on it. Yeah, that was a team that looked like they were completely out of it, and then they teased us, and then they just didn't quite get there from a point of winning the game straight up and covering the spread. But the Orange are 4-2 in these coin flip games I talk about. They just survived that game against Notre Dame. Miami's 6-2 in the coin flip games. So they've been a little bit lucky in that regard. They dropped 2 or 3 as of late coming into this game overall, but both teams are excellent in transition, while Syracuse is less than average in half-court play. That said, Miami is 351st in half-court offensive frequency. So they prefer to run a little bit. They're usually their athletes in this game. If Syracuse could slow them down a little bit, keep them out of getting to the basket, I think they've got a chance here. But both teams have been very good finishing at the rim offensively, both in the top 40. This is the one game out of the 3 we're talking about that I really don't have much of an opinion on. So we'll see how it goes, see how healthy Miami is with their players tonight. But I'll be passing on this one.
All right, it should be an interesting one here. 9-2 Syracuse in its last 11. We'll see if they can keep it rolling tonight against the U. And plenty of other games on the board here all throughout the day. We'll go around the horn here and see if there is a particular game these guys like a little more than the rest. So mid-major Matt, sportsmemo.com. Why don't you go ahead, kick us off. Tell us what's your best bet here for the show.
My best bet's Towson. They just match up really well with Hofstra.
All right,
I think
Tony Finn. They already won, but okay. I'm actually. I mean, I like looking at isolating situations and things like that. Cal State Northridge is a really bad basketball team. They are heading to Hawaii. It's a 48-hour turnaround, and you never like teams that are flying into Hawaii on that quick turnaround because there is jet lag, and there's going to be some situations where the teams are not playing well, and now you're going to Hawaii and you treat it more like a vacation, and that's kind of the case what I see here with Cal State Northridge. They're 3-14 on the season. They're not a good basketball team. They play extremely slow, but I'm looking at the first half. I'm really going to play off the jet lag and off the slow start and being in Hawaii and all this stuff. Cal State Northridge, only 5 teams have scored less points in the first half on the road than Cal State Northridge, who's averaging just under 26 points per first half.
Hawaii's defense at home in the first half, top 18. They are right next to Virginia, who we know plays some of the best defense in the country. The 2 games so far in the Big West that have taken place in Hawaii so far have gone under this number. So I'm going to take a shot that Cal State Northridge has the jet lag. We're looking at under 24.5 points in the first half for Cal State Northridge in their game against Hawaii this evening.
All right, there you go. Good stuff there. Drew, talk to us. Which one of these games you're looking at here tonight?
Yeah, Joe, I'm going to the first game. Conference USA, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, UAB, MTSU, and I'm going after the total here, 145.5. I bet it to the under. We've seen a move towards the under. Some of that my money. I still like it at this number. Talking about the Blazers, one of the fastest teams in terms of offensive average possession length. But last time out, there was a change, and they only had 67 possessions. So 14-3 to the over so far this season. But I actually think we're getting value betting them to the under against better defensive teams in Conference USA. I think MTSU checks that box here. Number 100 overall in terms of defensive efficiency. They do have shot blockers down there. So getting it up a pretty high total here, all things considered, 145.5. I do like it to the under. UAB and MTSU as my best bet. 11-3 college basketball run. Got one up tonight for the clients. And Joe, to take like 20 seconds, final thoughts for the show. We were talking about scoring in paradise with FAU.
Yes.
Brian Leonard brought up the ticket to Thailand. I don't know if you saw this, Joe. Cliff Kingsbury shown the door with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
And he was offered like interviews to be an offensive coordinator, and he just said, no thanks, I got a one-way ticket to Thailand. I just thought that was hilarious, man. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I thought that was fantastic. And to Brian Leonard's point, he ain't coming back anytime soon. No, one-way ticket tells it all, Brian Leonard. What do you think? You're going to be scoring all right in Thailand. What do you think, Brian? Talk to us about this breakdown tonight in the best bet.
Yeah, if I ever get to Thailand, I don't think I'm going to have time to do videos. Yeah, that was strange, but I agree. That was funny as hell. And I don't blame him. The guy's got money coming out the ass.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to the first game we spoke about as Drew did, but I'm going to look at it from a different standpoint. He went with the total. I'll go for the side. I talked about those yellow games, which I consider the coin flip games with the shot quality numbers. Blazers 0-4 in the shot quality coin flip games, so they're doing a little bit of regression in that regard. In those 4 games, their final win percentage post game were 63, 54, 58, and 85. So they've been dominating, even if in the games that they lose. Middle Tennessee State, on the other hand, 2-4 in those, and in the coin flip games, and they are actually off of one of those wins, and that was against Rice, 71-68. They didn't deserve that win by the post game winning percentage of 32. So they're coming off of a lucky win, and we're getting a team here that has a little bit of poor luck so far this season in my regard in those close games. Before that game for Middle Tennessee, they lost to UTSA in North Texas, and the post-game winning percentages there were 23 and 27. So they're not playing very well right now. Both teams rank in the top 30 in shot quality, points per possession offensively in the half court, so they're very good in that regard. The major key in this game to me is the Blue Raiders in offensive transition, and they've been very good. Ranking 55th in that category at shot quality, points per possession. They don't run a lot, but when they do, they've had some pretty good success. But this Blazers team, a team that likes to run, a team that's normally running, they are second in the nation defensively in preventing transition points. So they get back on defense. They'll take that part away from Middle Tennessee State, make them play in the half court. The line's 2.5 here. My number was much higher. I understand with the slower pace, probably less possessions, which would mean you have to make that adjustment. I'm still coming up for a good 3 points better on UAB of what the -2.5 is. So I'll lay the points here with the Blazers.
All right, Blazers, it is for Brian Leonard and our friends at the Gold Sheet. They, too, have a play of the day. They're going to take a look here at North Carolina A&T. They're going to lay the points against Hampton. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. Hampton sucks. No, I'm sorry. 0-5 in conference play, with all 5 losses of those coming, 16 or more points. They are in an 8-game losing streak as well, with all 8 losses. Yep, you guessed it, double digits. And A&T has played the absolute tougher schedule with a pair of top 125 wins already under their belt. So for our friends at the Gold Sheet, they are going to look at North Carolina A&T lay it against Hampton here tonight. I'm going to go with a game that I did not understand the line. I don't understand the line, so I'm going to play it. And that's going to be Delaware catching points against, by far, one of the more inconsistent teams in the conference there at Northeastern. Yes, I know Jameer Nelson Jr. not there for Delaware, but he has been listed as day-to-day. Who knows if he's going to be able to make it on the court tonight, but with or without him, they should be able to win this game. And the fact they're catching points is a bit head-scratching. So I'll go ahead and take those points with the Blue Hens here tonight. And to recap once again for everyone that's joining us, Drew Martin, he's going to go the UAB Middle Tennessee State under at that 145.5. Matt Joseph's Cal State Northridge, first half team total under 24.5 as they take the trip to Hawaii, while Brian Leonard, he likes UAB. He'll lay that 2.5 in Middle Tennessee State. I'm gonna take the 2 rather with Delaware and our friends from the Gold Sheet. North Carolina A&T laid the 5 against Hampton, and it is $9 Monday, which means if you visit these gentlemen, both Drew Martin and Brian Leonard at WagerTalk.com, $9 best bets available on their page, and of course over at SportsMemo.com. Mid-major Matt Josephs, visit him. Also $9 Monday at SportsMemo.com. His best bets, just $9. Head over there, guys. Plenty of action here on the hardwood, both NBA as well as college. And don't forget NHL action. And the GOAT goes tonight there in Tampa against Dallas. So a lot of ways to cash some tickets here tonight. Certainly hope you'll visit these guys over at Wager Talk and SportsMemo.com. We'll be back again, of course, tomorrow. More college basketball action across the country. We'll have you covered. Until then, on behalf of Drew Martin, Brian Leonard, and Matt Josephs, appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with all the plays tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.